When it comes to shows like Naruto, Dragon Ball, Black Clover, and so many more, we as the audience are thrust into an epic journey where we watch as the protagonist develops into their best self and uplift those around them. But, dear viewer, what is a protagonist without their angsty deuteragonist, or second protagonist? Vegeta, Killua, Yuno, Bakugo, so on and so forth. These characters are a great insight into the world that we as the audience are being introduced to, because there are several times where the protagonist is portrayed as idyllic in some form. And usually the deuteragonist is the other side of the proverbial coin, which results in not only the characters themselves, but the audience gaining a greater understanding of not only the characters, but the world they inhabit. More often than not, these characters are meant to be the opposite but equal to the main lads we know and love. And in my opinion, there is none more iconic than Sasuke Uchiha. Now, don't get me wrong, Vegeta is right there. But Vegeta felt like an ally fairly quickly once the story wrapped up the Frieza arc and leading into the Android saga. At least to me personally. Sasuke, however, always felt a little different. He starts off as this enigmatic figure that just wishes to be left to his own devices. But slowly his shell opens up, and we as the audience start to see some of the good coming from Sasuke, ultimately wanting to root for him. But after a few circumstances, Sasuke ultimately lands on the belief that there is no one that can grant him the strength he desires within the confines of the wall of Konoha, and ultimately decides to abandon the village. When I first started the series, and even after reading it a few times, I legitimately hated this character and got actively annoyed at the absolute glazing everyone gave him. Now, I'm not here today to say whether his ideals were right or wrong. But after reading the manga a few times and watching the anime a total of 8 times, I think I can finally understand and even sympathize with the path that Sasuke ultimately takes. However, I do think that time after time, Sasuke has not only made awful decisions, but has shown himself to be pretty much a walking L. So today, I thought it would be fun to take a look at Sasuke from the start of the series all the way up to the end of Shippuden and see if his actions and decisions and upbringing lead him to getting more L's or more W's. We will be determining this not only from the fights Sasuke participates in, but also based off of how his interactions shape the world around him, and the realizations he comes to after his actions. And just to reiterate, Sasuke has amazing moments in the series where he absolutely steals the show. I think there are just some out there who look past the flaws of this character for the sake of how cool he is. So, there are 2 ways that we could go about this that make the most sense. We can either go about it in chronological order, from the beginning of episode 1 all the way to the end of Shippuden, and we just talk about the events as we see them as the audience, or we could do a chronological form of Sasuke's life, starting from the earliest moments when we see him as a young kid with his brother Itachi, all the way up to the end of Shippuden. And I think for the sake of brevity and to make things make more sense cohesively, we're gonna go with the latter. Sasuke was born as the second child of his family and was named after Sasuke Sarutobi, a legendary shinobi that was said to have had few rivals in the hopes that Sasuke would grow up powerful. As a result of his older brother's amazing feats and accomplishments, Sasuke grew up not only having some jealousy and superiority issues, but this also led to his father showing him little attention or care. Of course, shortly into Sasuke's life, there was the night of the Uchiha Massacre, where his brother and Obito Uchiha would slaughter every last remaining Uchiha except for Sasuke. And in the moments of their final interaction, Sasuke pleads to his brother desperately for an answer as to why he did this. And honestly, that's a big W in my book. Having the courage as a child to try and not only comprehend, but stand against what would be traumatizing for literally anyone of any age ever, shows a ton of resolve. Either way, we know what happens next. Sasuke is dispatched momentarily, and From this moment forward, the only thing Sasuke can hope to do is become stronger and kill his brother. After being added to Team 7 and being introduced to Kakashi, Sasuke and crew are being tasked with the test of taking a few bells from Kakashi in any way possible. Of course, this is a task that they fail, as Kakashi at this point is a Jonin that would likely be Kage level. However, the real test begins as soon as noon approaches. See, Naruto has been tied up to a post, and the entire crew is instructed to eat lunch to prepare for the second half of the test. However, Naruto is not allowed to eat since he was previously caught. Kakashi makes it explicitly clear that if the students go against his direct orders, that the team will be sent back to the academy, and the one who ultimately doesn't end up with a bell will go back regardless. Despite the fact that he could be sent back to the academy, forcing him to wait even longer to gain power and his revenge, Sasuke shares his lunch with Naruto anyways, despite Kakashi's warning. He does so stating that everyone needs to be in their top shape in order for the team to obtain bells, realizing that he alone was not skilled enough to grab one and needed to rely on teamwork. At the start of the Land of the Waves arc, Team 7 is attacked by two assassins who aim to take out the clientele that they are escorting. In this moment, Sasuke is able to temporarily stop the two while Naruto freezes in fear. Shortly after, the crew is also attacked by Zabuza Momochi, who manages to imprison Kakashi for a short period of time. During this, Sasuke and Naruto team up to free Kakashi, and through some truly innovative thinking, are successful. After matching Naruto in chakra control training, Sasuke and crew are once again met by Zabuza, and this time he has a subordinate with him, who starts to fight Sasuke one-on-one. For a time, Sasuke is able to keep up with Haku, but is quickly outmatched when Haku reveals his Ice Mirror technique. Naruto joins the fight, giving Sasuke more room to breathe as Naruto makes for a great distraction, while Sasuke uses his newly activated Sharingan to make sense of how to defeat Haku. Seeing that Sasuke is adapting to his movements, Haku decides to take out Naruto as to make the fight easier, and in this moment, Sasuke shields Naruto from the incoming attack. Now, when I first thought of this fight, my initial plan was to give Sasuke an L because he did technically lose the fight and wouldn't have made it far into the fight without Naruto. But what he does in this moment is of such good nature that it makes me want to root for him. So I think I'll make this moment a net neutral. He would have gotten an L for losing the fight, but he also gets a W for saving his friend. So these two moments will cancel each other out on the scoreboard. After the Land of the Waves and returning back to Konoha, Kakashi mentions to the team that they are skilled enough to qualify for the Chunin exams, and this arc is one of Sasuke's biggest showings for a good part of the series. The exams start off with a preliminary puzzle of trying to find the correct classroom, which has been obscured due to Genjutsu. Sasuke notices the Genjutsu and calls the instructors out on it almost immediately. During this moment, however, a lot of commotion is caused amongst the fellow ninja, one of which outright challenging Sasuke. Thinking this fight would be easy, Sasuke shows a lot of his hubris in this fight and is quickly shown that he isn't the strongest just because he received a fancy new upgrade to his skills, and that he still has a lot to learn. During the written part of the exam, Sasuke quickly comes to the realization that not only is he not able to answer any of these questions, but the real purpose of the exam is to gather intel without getting caught. After the written exam and into the Forest of Death, Team 7 is quickly met with one of the show's biggest antagonists, Orochimaru. Showing an interest in his Uchiha blood, Orochimaru decides to give Sasuke a curse mark seal, sensing that Sasuke thirsts for power, and in doing so, knows that Sasuke will come to him, seeking the ability to control the curse mark. Also during this fight, Naruto actually manages to have a more impressive showing in some arguments, and even scares Sasuke a bit with how quickly Naruto is becoming strong. And I'm also going to give Sasuke another L here, not because Naruto may or may not be stronger than him, but because Naruto calls back to a previous moment in the series, using an insult against Sasuke that was originally directed towards him. And you can definitely tell this hits home when Naruto calls Sasuke a scaredy cat. Entering into the preliminary rounds of the Chunin exam, Sasuke fights with a ninja named Yoroi with only taijutsu, and does scrape by with a win. After this, we actually don't see Sasuke all too much. His curse mark is temporarily sealed, But the biggest thing that happens between this moment and the next major fight is Sasuke learns how to use the Chidori from Kakashi. Sasuke begins his fight with Gaara by mimicking a lot of Rock Lee's movements and taking advantage of his new technique. Though managing to damage Gaara, all Sasuke's attack did was anger him and begin the transformation sequence into Shukaku, thus ultimately starting the Konoha Crush arc. Sasuke is sent to chase after Gaara, but by the time Sasuke catches up, Gaara has partially transformed already. After clashing again, Sasuke is left helpless, and in the last moments before Gaara could kill him, Sasuke is ultimately saved by Naruto, and in complete awe at Naruto's reserves of chakra and determination. After this, we soon find out that Sasuke's brother has returned, and he is here to capture Naruto. After finding out of Itachi's return in one of the most hilarious clips possible,
Kakashi, どうしてKakashiが寝ている? それに常人ばかり集まって何をしている? あのイタチが帰ってきたって話は本当か? しかもナルトを追ってるって。あいつがこの里に帰ってきただと。
Sasuke rushes off to find Naruto and his brother. Upon reaching the location where both Naruto and his brother are, Sasuke attempts to kill Itachi, but is very quickly shown the wall he has still yet to climb, as Itachi catches his hand mid-Chidori and then proceeds to break his wrist. Afterwards, Itachi then slams him against the wall, uses his Sharingan to make Sasuke relive the death of his clan all over again, and then Itachi tells Sasuke that he is still too weak and doesn't harbor enough hatred to kill him. But before even fully healing in the hospital, Sasuke reflects on the facts that he was not only unable to stop Itachi, but Itachi showed little real interest in Sasuke, despite Sasuke claiming to want to take Itachi's life. Instead, Itachi was there for Naruto. Stupid, worthless, loser Naruto, who was getting a lot stronger all of a sudden. In fact, Sasuke noticed all the way back in the Forest of Death that Naruto, slowly but surely, was catching up to him. So, in a fit of anger and jealousy and a mix of a ton of other emotions, Sasuke challenges Naruto to fight on the rooftop of the hospital. The fight escalates to a point where Naruto and Sasuke are both using their strongest techniques against each other, preparing to clash, but they're stopped at the very last second by Kakashi. The aftermath of this fight shows Sasuke how much more power was behind Naruto's attack compared to his own, further breeding his flames of hatred and jealousy. After being confronted by the Sound Ninja 4 and convinced to join them back to Orochimaru's lair, Sasuke undergoes a transformation that allows him better control of his curse mark form. But this transformation comes at the cost of his literal death. Sasuke dies in the barrel that he's being carried in, and as he emerges, he does seem noticeably different. Darker than the shade of dark that we were already accustomed to. The following fight between Naruto and Sasuke is not only one of the most iconic in the show, but one of the most well-recognized fights in all of anime. This fight is a masterpiece. However, even though Sasuke ultimately wins this fight, and is able to pursue his wishes of gaining more power from Orochimaru, he's unable to kill his best friend, which, according to his brother, is the only way to obtain the Mangekyo Sharingan, the power likely needed to defeat said brother. Because of his inability to finish Naruto off and how his decisions here affect the realization Sasuke has towards the end of the series, I'm actually giving Sasuke an L. I know that might seem unfair as he did technically win the fight, and at the very least I could make it neutral, similar to the fight against Haku, but in his final fight with Naruto, Sasuke is finally able to see how his decisions left him alone and in the dark. All of this could have been prevented right here, right now, had Sasuke just listened to Naruto and returned to the village. Moving into Shippuden, the next time we see Sasuke is during the Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission. And I won't lie, when I first saw this, I was completely taken back by how much stronger Sasuke was than Naruto. Hell, Sasuke took out a whole unit by himself effortlessly and was going to nuke every single one of them if Orochimaru hadn't stepped in. The fight showcased Sasuke's superiority and also showcased his foresight as he learned a way to counteract Naruto's nine-tailed fox transformation through the use of the Sharingan. Big W here. After some time and some more training, Sasuke has ultimately concluded that Orochimaru in his weakened state has nothing left for Sasuke to offer. So, before Orochimaru can enact his plan of stealing Sasuke's body, Sasuke aims to kill Orochimaru. Not only does Sasuke succeed in this, but also seemingly absorbs Orochimaru in the process, which gives Sasuke high poison immunity, White Snake summons / powers, and overall, seemingly, a boost to his physical abilities. Before taking on his brother, Sasuke forms his own team to rely on. During the process of gathering everyone and traveling from location to location, Sasuke happens upon Deidara, who is not only a fanatic member of the Akatsuki, the same group as Itachi, but also has a vendetta against the Sharingan specifically, which makes Sasuke a target. This, in my opinion, is actually a beautifully choreographed fight which showcases all of Sasuke's abilities extremely well. In the end, Sasuke does manage to barely scrape by with his life and wins thanks to the Sharingan and Manda, a snake summon. As the fated battle between brothers commences, Sasuke once again utilizes all of his abilities masterfully, even showcasing a few new tricks that were hinted at previously in the series. Ultimately, this fight ends with Itachi dispelling the remnants of Orochimaru from Sasuke's body, and Itachi dies with a smile on his face as his brother is safe and able to protect himself. At the time, this seemed like a huge win for Sasuke, the biggest. Everything he had been striving for, everything he gave up and turned his back on, every day and night reliving those awful memories, cultivated themselves into this very moment, where Itachi lay dead beside Sasuke. And thanks to the words of another surviving Uchiha, Obito, it is revealed that Itachi not only did what he did to protect Sasuke, but the entire village. Now, racked with guilt, wishing he could bring back his only family member, Sasuke awakens the Mangekyo Sharingan. The words of the Uchiha harkening back, telling us the only way to obtain the Mangekyo is to kill one's best friend. And to an extent, Itachi was Sasuke's best friend. Though this resulted in a new power, ultimately Sasuke's mind is shattered after this. So to me, this is an L. After learning the truth of Itachi's life and wishes from Obito, Sasuke sets his new eyes on destroying Konoha. And Obito agrees to help Sasuke so long as he do something in return, which is capture the 8-tailed Jinchuriki. Sasuke agrees and does manage to ultimately take back a piece of the Jinchuriki, but fails to actually take Killer Bee himself. Also, during this fight, Sasuke and his crew pretty much lose to a 4-on-1 for the most of the fight, and if not for Karin, Sasuke would have definitely died here. Following this, Sasuke is informed by Obito and Zetsu that not only was the Killer Bee they captured a fake, but Konoha has already been destroyed thanks to Pain. Pain was ultimately brought down by Naruto, and Danzo, who was the main conspirator in the Uchiha massacre, had been recently nominated the newest Hokage. Furthermore, all the Kage would be meeting for a summit shortly to talk about the upcoming threat of the Akatsuki, and thus, Sasuke had a new target to lock his eyes on: Danzo. The 5 Kage summit culminates in what is one of Sasuke's best showings in the entire franchise. It starts with the coldest intro, Sasuke ultimately taking on multiple Kage level opponents, and escaping with his life in pursuit of his target. Now, admittedly, he did have He did have help escaping from Inoki's particle style, but I won't count that against Sasuke. Shortly after we approach Sasuke's fight with Danzo on the bridge, which ends in one of the most chilling scenes in the show, Sasuke puts Danzo down like the dog he is. But after this, it's kind of off the deep end for Sasuke. During his attack on Danzo, he shows no remorse as he intends to sacrifice Karin for the sake of his cause. Immediately after his interactions with Danzo, Sasuke is met with Sakura, who tries to convince Sasuke she wants to help his cause. But, in actuality, she plans to kill him. Sensing her intent, Sasuke does stay weary, but is quickly thrown into a fight with Kakashi. While Sasuke does hold his own for a bit, the overuse of the Sharingan makes him start to go blind. And after Naruto shows up and another small clash happens, Sasuke is ultimately forced to retreat. If he had fought Naruto in this moment, he would have lost. Not to mention, his behavior and his loss of arguably one of his biggest allies definitely makes Sasuke deserve another L here. During some time after this, Sasuke is implanted with Itachi's eyes, giving birth to Sasuke's eternal Mangekyo, which is much more powerful than before and won't deteriorate. After gaining rest and information about the current state of the Fourth Great Ninja War, Sasuke happens upon the reanimated version of his older brother, who is in pursuit of his own mission. Now, filled with regret and dozens of questions, Sasuke gives chase, and when he and his brother arrive to the location Itachi was headed towards, they are met with the caster of the reanimation jutsu which is keeping Itachi alive, Kabuto. A fight ensues where the Uchiha brothers use their long-forgotten teamwork of hunting together in order to ultimately catch Kabuto with the genjutsu and undo the reanimation. In his final moments, Itachi confesses his love for his younger brother, and this moment helps to give Sasuke some closure. While he doesn't do too much to help during the fight, getting a final goodbye from his brother is absolutely a win in my book. After extracting Orochimaru's essence and summoning him, Sasuke uses Orochimaru to revive the previous Hokage so Sasuke can finally get some answers as to what happened to his clan, who he is, and what his next steps are. After hearing what all the Hokage have to say, Sasuke decides the only thing to do is to destroy the current Kage system and to become Hokage himself. Sasuke joins back with the original Rookie 9 to spearhead an assault during the Great War and proves himself to be a valuable ally. After Obito successfully becomes the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, several attacks from everyone are tested out to see what will work against Obito, with the only option seeming to be Senjutsu. After Naruto and the 4th Hokage transform into Sage Mode, Sasuke becomes noticeably irritated and possibly even jealous. Through masterful strategy and teamwork, however, Sasuke is able to assist Naruto in removing the tailed beast from Obito. After facing off against Madara once and seeing that Madara is attempting to gain the power that they had just struggled against inside of Obito, Sasuke attempts to attack Madara again, but gets caught midair by seemingly nothing, and Madara uses Sasuke's own sword to stab him through the heart, leaving him on the verge of death. In his fading moments, Sasuke is met with Hagoromo, the legendary Sage of Six Paths, and is questioned as to what his plans are for the world, and ultimately gives Sasuke one half of his power, the other half of his power going to Naruto. Shortly after, the infinite Tsukuyomi is activated. Thankfully, due to his full body Susanoo, Sasuke is able to shield the entirety of Team 7 from the effects of the worldwide genjutsu. However, during this moment, Sakura attempts to ask Sasuke what is happening, and he completely dismisses both her and Kakashi, essentially claiming them both to be useless, and forces himself as leader of the operation instead of trying to work together, like they had done a few short years ago. After several back and forth moments between Naruto, Sasuke, and Madara, where no one person seems to be overtaking the battle, Madara is ultimately killed from behind by Zetsu, and as such, the birth of the goddess of chakra commences. For all intents and purposes, the rebirth of Kaguya is the final boss of Naruto Shippuden, and it definitely feels like it with all the world swapping, crazy forms, and story wrap-up. Sasuke and Naruto are able to seal Kaguya away, which frees the tailed beast trapped inside of her. However, immediately after this, Sasuke uses his new Rinnegan abilities to capture the tailed beast once again, claiming he's going to kill them. And afterwards, he will also kill Naruto as well. And thus, the final fight begins. I don't really know what all I could say about the themes, choreography, and the visuals in this fight that haven't already been said dozens of times. This fight is the perfect showcase of what a final showdown of this magnitude should be. Two ideals clashing, one trying to make the other one understand, all while showcasing insane power and awesome looking transformations. This fight is a back and forth, kinda, but I think overall, Sasuke takes quite a few L's here. First, there's the Chidori to Naruto's face. Honestly, this is the kind of attack that should be able to take someone's head off, but Naruto literally shrugs it off. The coolest part of this fight is when Sasuke absorbs the power from the nine-tailed beasts into his Susanoo. However, even with all this power, he's still unable to defeat Naruto. In the moments of their final clash, Sasuke has high ground and is able to infuse Amaterasu into his Chidori, while Naruto has to jump up towards Sasuke with a basic Rasengan. Sasuke should have won here. There's no reason why he shouldn't. But as Naruto awakens and sees that both he and Sasuke are missing arms and can't move, Sasuke finally admits defeat. After all those years, after all of their struggles against each other, Sasuke admits that Naruto was right, and that he had won. And this wasn't some arbitrary decision based off power alone. In the final moments of the fight, everything finally clicked for Sasuke. As he and Naruto clashed, he saw all of the people standing behind Naruto, uplifting him, believing in him, rooting for Naruto, while Sasuke's path was left with nothing but darkness and destruction in its wake. Earlier in the video, I mentioned how Sasuke's outcome could have and likely would have ended up vastly different had he had stayed in the village, and I still believe that. Yes, we have a non-canon set of episodes showcasing what that might be like, but it didn't come from Kishimoto himself. Sasuke is a victim of not only his environment, but his own hubris as well. Sasuke left the village after losing time and time again, and even with Kakashi's special training, he was still no match for his older brother in their re-encounter. And Naruto seems to be growing leaps and bounds above him at this point, so the only logical thing he can think to do is to chase after a teacher of his own. One he knows is at least able to hold themselves against the third Hokage, aged as he may be. Sasuke's path is very clearly laid out if you really pay attention to the context of the world around him and his emotions, but that doesn't mean things had to turn out this way. It still makes no sense to me why Sasuke didn't try and train under Jiraiya or even someone like Guy, knowing Guy rivals Kakashi. Maybe he didn't want to go with Jiraiya because that was Naruto's teacher and he wanted something different, but they already share a teacher with Kakashi, so I see no reason as to why he couldn't train under Jiraiya. And training under somebody like Guy would enhance his physical abilities several times over, and would also give him extra insight into the Sharingan as well, as Guy has spent a good amount of his life thinking of ways to counteract it. So, funnily enough, we actually end up with 21 wins and 21 losses for Sasuke. Towards the end of Shippuden, Sasuke seems to take a lot more L's than W's, so I figured the ratio would be a lot worse, but he definitely has some of the best moments in the entirety of the show. And while I do think he's a bit of a walking L, his character development is at least realistic and understandable from the beginning chapters of the show all the way to current Boruto.